We want to turn our attention now to a side of modern college life that parents don't learn about when they take the standard campus tour, and that is gambling. Although it's illegal, it's a safe bet. Sports gambling takes place on nearly every college and university campus in America. And once the bookies move in on them, even the best and brightest of students are no match for the pros. Bryant Gumbel has the story.
He wasn't a student and he wasn't a teacher, but Lex Faria spent an awful lot of time on college campuses. It's where he made his living.
God help them if they run into a guy like me, because it's over with. You've got to worry about school, finals, all that stuff. All I'm worried about is relieving you of your cash.
Lex Faria was a gangster tied to the Boston Mafia. More precisely, he was a bookie whose specialty was college kids.
The ones that I was looking for is the cocky kid, the kid that at home was the class president, the kid that was the big fish in a little pond. But now he's in Boston, he's going to school, he's 18 years old, he's vulnerable because now he's swimming in my pond.
What school are we talking about?
We're talking Harvard, MIT, Tufts, Brown, Boston College, Providence.
You serious? Harvard, MIT?
Absolutely.
Can I ask how much education you have?
11th grade.
And you're snookering these Harvard kids?
Easily. I looked at them as just tricks.
But you say tricks. I mean, that's what a prostitute calls...
They were my little lamb chops.
I think I'm a pretty good kid.
His name is Troy. He never met Lex, but he met guys just like him.
How much were you into the bookies for?
Oh, $18,000, $20,000.
Can I assume that was money you didn't have?
You can assume that was money I didn't have.
Troy is a student at the University of Nebraska in Lincoln, home of the Cornhuskers, one of the top college football teams in the country. On the Saturday afternoon we were there, not all the action was on the field. This is a bar just a few blocks from the stadium. Lex Faria, the bookie, was our guide. He's carrying a hidden camera. See those guys against the wall? They're Nebraska students, and based on what he heard, Lex Faria says they're also bookies, middlemen, who take bets on their cell phones, then pass them along to the grown-ups running the operations.
This is the head bookmaker right here. These are his cronies.
And this is a bar right off campus?
This is a bar right off of campus. They're the only guys in there.
Washington, 88, Miami for a total 99.
There. He just took the bet. Now he's going to his pin. He's got his tout sheet right here. And he is getting suspicious of me at this point.
You're not a cop, are you?
Well, was the cop order you're talking to you for?
What's the bet?
So basically right there, he admits to me, man to man, that he's a bookmaker when he says to me, if you wanted to place a bet.
How much money can a kid like that make?
I'm guessing that he's probably making $500, $600, $700.
A what, a week?
A week.
Really? How long did it take you to find guys taking bets on campus?
Less than 24 hours.
And there's nothing special about Nebraska. Lex Faria says that sports gambling on campuses all over the country is about as common as beer at a fraternity party. And if that's news to you, it's also news to a lot of parents who are the ones putting up the money to cover a lot of lost bets.
I don't think that most parents understand what's going on. I think they're worried about alcohol. They're probably still worried about drugs. And I think most parents don't have an idea about where the money is going.
And if you don't believe him, just listen to them.
So you were scamming your parents
Yeah.
to pay your bets?
Yeah.
Like what? What were you telling them?
You know, $100 here for student parking, $500 here for, you know, maybe above what the rent was.
And this money was going to?
To, you know, Johnny Bananas.
The bookie.
Right.
Mike went to Florida State. Michael goes to school in Pennsylvania. And Troy is the Nebraska student. They're all compulsive gamblers.
I called my parents, crying my eyes out, saying I lost $3,000 betting, and that I was very sorry. I would never do it again. And because they love their son so much, they sent me a check for $3,000. And I cashed it, and I gave it to the bookies. 2 days later, I'm with another bookie betting again.
2 days later?
Actually, it might have been the next day.
There were plenty of times when I was down, you know, $5,000, $10,000 going into towards the end of the week.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
How much?
Yeah, $10,000. That was nuts.
Where did you get $10,000 to bet in college?
It was on credit. That's the thing about college bookies. It's all on credit. I had $30,000, $60,000 in one day of action without $500 in my bank account.
Would the week be incomplete if you didn't put some money down?
Not incomplete. It would be disastrous.
You're at a football institution. Did you care if Nebraska won or lost?
No.
Or just you didn't care?
And my brother played for him.
Your brother played football for Nebraska.
Yeah.
You were betting on their games.
And most of the time against them.
That's the world of sports gambling, where there's no such thing as rooting for the home team or school spirit. All that matters is winning the bet. But what happens when you lose once too many times and the bookie wants his money?
They ever threaten you? I mean, like I'll break your legs type of stuff?
The time that I got down $14,000, I was so scared for my life. My roommate at the time was in a fraternity, and someone came up behind him and grabbed him on the shoulder and said, "You're a marked man if Mike doesn't come up with the money." They were badgering all my other friends, wanting to know where I was. I came back to my room, didn't turn on the lights to my room because I was actually scared that someone would be sitting out in that car with a gun, looking at my window, waiting for the lights to come on to shoot me. That's how scared I was.
Creating victims. That was my job. Take the most amount of your disposable income out of your pocket and put it in mine.
Lex Faria is not in the bookmaking business anymore. He says he was getting too old to hang out with college kids on campus. But that's exactly what he's still doing, except now he visits schools all over the country where he talks to students about the dark side of gambling.
My regret is that I stacked a lot of little bodies up, and I trashed them, and I trashed them good. Right now, it gives me a certain amount of therapy, if you want to put it that way, to get up there and talk to them and tell them what's waiting for them.
Not every kid who bets, of course, becomes a compulsive gambler. But for those who couldn't stop and couldn't pay, Lex was there with a way out. He would turn his little lamb chops into little felons. He'd have them pass counterfeit money for the mob, or fence stolen goods, or worse.
I have them burn down a house.
Come on.
I'll tell you the story. He goes over there, he goes and dumps gas in the basement, goes to light the darn thing, but the fumes have built up. Next time I see him, his hair's all singed off of his head. He has no eyebrows, no eyelashes, and he damn near killed himself.
You know, you're sitting there with that infectious smile of yours. You were a bad guy.
Absolutely. I'm not apologizing for anything that I did. There was lots of guys waiting to get in my spot.
You had a college kid in the Boston area who you pushed too far, right?
Absolutely.
What happened?
Jumped off a bridge, killed himself. He owed me $280.
$280?
$280.
And how'd you push him?
Putting the pressure on him. He refused to do what I asked him to do. It was the time in his life where his parents were going to have to find out what was going on.
And he kills himself. And your first reaction was?
I hope he didn't leave my name in the suicide note.
Does the word conscience mean anything to you? I mean,
it didn't at the time. It does now.
And that wasn't the only time we heard a story just like that.
And I got to the point where I was absolutely tired of doing it, tired of living. And so I attempted suicide.
What'd you do?
I took a little over 100 pills and drank a bottle of vodka in a hotel room in Las Vegas. The next thing I know, basically, I woke up, and it was like 3.5 days later. Then I had to face the music, which made it even extra difficult, because I truly, really wanted to be gone.
Face the music.
I mean, I had to call my parents.
Facing the bookie was easier than facing your parents.
The toughest thing I've ever done in my entire life was that phone call, by far.
They all say they don't gamble anymore, but because they're like alcoholics, they're taking it one day at a time, and they're all in therapy. In his own way, so is Lex Faria.
If I got to one kid, it's worth it for all the little lives I trashed, because the body count was getting pretty high.
And it's a good bet that the old Lex, the campus bookie, wouldn't have shed a tear for any of them.
When I've wrung the last drop of sweat out of them, I'm kicking them into the dumpster, and that's the end of them. I don't want to see them anymore. I don't want to know their name. It's over with for them. It's all about money. It's all about greed, and it's all about me being a predator. The ones you're going to go after are the young ones.
Bernie Varia says it's all about money. Is that what it's all about?
Well, it's all about money for the bookie. I mean,
Well, what about for the kids?
every kid we spoke to, Bryant, said, I know this is going to sound strange, but he said money had nothing to do with it. Now, winning is better than losing, but they all said it was the rush.
Yeah.
They get, well, I know, when somebody says it's not the money.
It's the money. You got it. Realistically, how concerned should parents be about the threat to their child?
Look, if you get a call from your child on campus that says, I need extra money for the rent or for food or I chipped my tooth, it's probably true. But compulsive gamblers are the biggest liars on the face of the earth. These guys will make stuff up and they'll convince their parents that they really need the money. So
if he chips a tooth every month, you ought to catch on to the,
yeah, that's right.
the idea of it. What, if anything, can university officials do about the problem? Are they trying to do anything about it, or does everybody just kind of wink at it?
Well, yeah, everybody everybody says it's a terrible thing, but the fact of the matter is you can open up any American newspaper right now, almost any paper. Go to the sports page, you'll find the gambling line, the betting line. But gambling on sporting events is illegal in every place in the United States except Las Vegas. You can't open the newspaper and find out how much crack cocaine costs in New Orleans or how much heroin costs in Seattle. That's illegal.
But you can
so
see
is
if the
gambling.
Jets are giving $3 to the Bucks, yeah.
And that's illegal too?
You got it. Bernie, thanks very much.